No vegan hamsters with lupus were harmed in the recording of this podcast. From Rochester, New York, the home of people who are seeing each other for the first time in a very long time, this is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And everything can be geeky if you love it enough. Starring Billy DeTore, starring Dan Carmen, starring Tanya Metris, starring Juno the Wonder Dog, and starring maybe, just maybe, hello, I'm your host. My name is Chris. Hi, guys.
Hi.
This is so weird.
It is weird.
So we have a new version. There's a new version of Zencaster out, which has video now. So we're actually seeing each other as we podcast.
Except for me.
Yeah. Billy's camera was working at not 1080p. We'll just say that. It was I would see Billy making a gesture and saying something, and then he would freeze, but I would hear his voice perfectly clearly, and then he'd be over here at the other end of the screen. It's wait,
I'm still trying to organize myself so I'm comfortable. Tell me, and I can't see myself, so tell me if this. You're probably looking at my belly right now. I can't tell. I don't know.
No, your camera's off right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna.
Your camera's off, so we can't see you. So
okay.
So as long as you're comfortable, that's all that matters. That's it.
Yeah. We're probably not going to use this video, so don't worry about it too much.
This is going to be for our amusement. This is going to be now you think we can catch Tanya off guard in the past, but now we can really start having some fun.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
Now we'll see her shopping during the show.
You can't see my other screen, so.
Except for this button right here does that. Oh,
screen sharing.
Multi-camera access.
Tanya's on OnlyFans. What the heck?
Hey. I think I'm selling my feet pictures, right?
No, she's updating Tanya'sFeet.com.
One subscriber, Quentin Tarantino.
No, so before we started, I had burst out laughing. That's why Dan's like, "Oh, we got to wait until Tanya stops laughing." So I went on a shopping excursion yesterday with Anne, and she got me. What a surprise
that is!
She got me a crank pasta maker, so I can make homemade pasta here. Mm-hmm. And it was only at the Bed Bath & Beyond in Victor. Greece is closing. Henrietta didn't have it, so we had to drive to Victor. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, we go into Eastview Mall. We were headed to the Lego store anyway. Well, we stopped at Build-A-Bear to get the cup and frog for our baby Yodas, our Grogus. Mm-hmm. So she sends me a picture this morning. She goes, "Oh, more please. I want more," with her little, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
So then I send mine. And then she said, "Naughty photos." And that's what I burst out laughing at, because she pulled up Grogu's thing, and I'm just like, oh. So I'm like,
too.
She's like,
Grogu, come on.
She's like, "Naughty photos." And I almost said, "Of what?" But then the picture came in right away, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're hysterical. So,
yes. It's stuff, it's little anecdotes like this. Excuse me. It's little anecdotes that make me realize that over my 50 years, I am personally responsible for a lot of things, and quite a few of them I'm proud of. I've brought a couple together, and I'm still on the fence though with the whole Tanya Ann friendship, because that wouldn't have happened without me doing a thing. And now I'm like, I sit back and go, was that a mistake? I'm not entirely sure.
The world is a much more fun place with a Tanya and Ann friendship.
It is. It really is. No,
oh my God, it's hysterical.
I kid, of course.
So when we were out and about yesterday, we stopped at the Lego store. We had lunch at Route 31, which is a delicious restaurant out in Eastern.
Which one again? I'm sorry.
Route 31, ROOT 31.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. I have been there. Yeah.
Oh, my God. We had the best salad yesterday. Then coming back, we hit Hot Topic, and then box lunch, and then out. Mm-hmm. Well, Hot Topic, she finds a Pixar bag that's got Mike and Sully on it from Monsters, Inc. and things like that. And that's Jessica's favorite Disney character is Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
can't really find much of it. So she found this handbag or whatever, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Jess would love it for her birthday. Then we looked up, and they had a mini backpack. They had a lot of the Pixar stuff and Mike and whatever, and we're like, oh, and it was buy one get one half off, or something like that. So, well, we grabbed that one. Yeah, we grabbed that one, and then we turned and found a Stitch one for Jess's real good friend Ariana, and her birthday's in March or something. So I'm like, I'll go half on it with you. So we split the cost of it, and then we put that in the bag. And then we went to Box Lunch. Then we found little pins that had Mike Wazowski and Sully on it, and then Stitch and whatever. And I got a couple Grogu ones. I got Sanderson sisters and Wonder Woman for Anne, that type of thing. I have some pins for Chris and Dan, but they're going to have to wait to see what they look like.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep adding to Chris's jacket.
Nice. Absolutely. My FC3 jacket.
I'm adding to your FC3 jacket. So we get home, and Anne leaves and she calls me, and she's like, oh my God, did you hear the screams of joy and excitement just over the pins? They hadn't even seen the bags yet. They were just like squealing over the pins. And then a couple minutes later, I get a phone call from Jess. Thank you. And I hear Ariana in the background. Thank you.
That's the best part of it, right? Yeah.
Well, and Ariana's grandfather or great grandfather was placed in comfort care the other day. So it was just a nice pick me up that I wasn't even thinking about that when I got it. So
yeah. Very cool. Successful trip there.
Yes. But my mom is mad at both Anne and myself right now.
Why?
Why is that?
Because my mom was going to get me a Post-it maker for my birthday, because my birthday's in 2 weeks. But I told her that Anne bought it. She goes, damn, Anne. I'm like, sorry. And then I said, and I'm like, oh, and I got myself a Pandora Baby Yoda charm yesterday for my bracelet. She goes, God damn you. She's like that. She goes, I had 3 ideas for you for your birthday. Anne took one of them. You took the other one. I'm not telling you what the third one is.
It really is hard to shop for a shopaholic. It's terrible, because if you see something you want, you usually buy it.
Right. And that's what my dad would do. That's what I do a lot of times. And I
wouldn't even think about asking my mom for the charm for my birthday or anything. Thought never even crossed my mind, because the charm was $55. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I wouldn't ask somebody for something that was that much.
Right.
So, and Anne got $15 off the pasta maker because I had $15 in gift cards for Bed Bath & Beyond.
So you've had some big news too lately this week. Not just your shopping adventures, young lady.
I have.
Your life quest come through with some interesting information.
My God. Well, people know that I'm adopted.
We've talked about that in the past.
Talked about that, and last year, right around the time that we were at the Straw Museum, I had gotten my pre-adoption birth certificate. So I got
so that was about a year ago.
Yes, I got a birth mother name, but no father name, whatever. Fast forward to, I don't know, so many.
About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now.
Well, a couple months ago, we were searching and things like that. I was searching the name in like March, April. Last year, we couldn't find anything. So Chris had some contacts where he was searching, and I just love the text message I got from him one day. He goes, are you sure you're not some alien princess that was dropped off on Earth? Because this person has vanished off the face of the earth. You can't find whatever. He goes, because that would be really cool. I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
I even went so far. This is where watching Criminal Minds and CSI and all that shit got into my brain, because I actually started trying to work a backwards profile, and I was almost completely right when you started looking at it, and when we finally got that one piece of information. But I'm starting to think, I'm trying to piece it together. I'm like, well, this and this and this and this, and then you'll have this detail and this. I was pretty damn close. I just want to point that out. But for the sake of brevity at this point, so that our intro section does not become a half an hour. Which it'll probably will be anyway, because I still want to get to Billy and Dan too. But we found your mother. We found your birth mother.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is we found her headstone because she had passed away in 1997.
Yes, and the surreal part is we found that her funeral was on my 25th birthday.
Yes, she had passed away about a couple of days before, and she was buried on your birthday in 97. And we found pictures of her from when she was little. And when she was in 7th grade and 8th grade, we found pictures of her. And as soon as we saw those pictures, it was holy crap, because it was just like looking at Tanya. It was amazing.
Yeah, so I will send the pictures up to Monkey Business. And then so before Nerd World News on Monday, Chris had to get his computer or whatever, and I had just opened Ancestry.com because we were talking about it. And a name came up with Gray as the last name, and I'm just like, oh my god. And then I clicked on it and it said Mount Morris. I'm like, this is the closest that I've gotten ever to have any information about birth family and things like that. So I contacted them, and then that night her mom contacted me, and then the next day or whatever, her other cousin contacted me, which would be my first cousin. And then Wednesday, she actually Facebook messaged me through video, and we talked for about 20-25 minutes. She lives in Chilai somewhere, so when the weather gets nicer, we can actually meet. But then yesterday, she started sending me photos of my birth mother when she was young. And the one picture at Christmas time, it was really surreal. So I think I sent that to Anne. Hold on.
So what kind of emotions do you have going through these days?
Well, what? I mean, the main reason why I did this is because I'm like, you always want to know who you are, where you come from, what your background is. Everyone like in school is like, oh, I'm Italian. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. I'm just like, I don't know what I am. I think I'm an alien princess that was dropped off on the face of the earth. That type of thing. To have you. So I did the Ancestry DNA, and I found out that I was Irish and English and a little bit of French and things like that. So definitely the Northern European. And now I'm just like, the main point is I didn't want anything like, oh, am I the daughter of a billionaire or whatever, and I want money or whatever. It was never about any of that. I was like, I want to know if I have siblings. I want to know medical stuff. And sure enough, there is some medical stuff that we found out that my birth mother passed away from a stroke at the age of 50. And then my other family has had high blood pressure and things like that. So fortunately, I found this information out right before a doctor's appointment, and my doctor's like, oh, that's good information to know now. So they can start testing that and things like that. But fortunately for me, I don't have high blood pressure. I've already been tested so many years ago for that clotting factor that would cause blood clots, and I didn't have it. So that's the good thing. So I'm planning on being on this earth for at least another 30 to 40 years.
Okay,
and,
so do we.
So that type of thing. So that was like the main thing. I would never change and want to change my upbringing whatsoever. And that's like the one thing that I've had to reassure mom and dad that this doesn't change a damn thing.
Right.
Type thing.
No, but just curiosity, just knowing your past, knowing where you're from,
just knowing who you are, where you come from, knowing that there's other people out there who might be interested.
Who you are is how you were raised right now, so that's not going to change. It's just more of And
truly, I'm still an only child.
Yeah.
No, I do have biological older siblings and half siblings, and there's potentially biracial siblings. Because she married an African American man after she had me, and she had children with him. So
very cool.
It is really cool. I think they're in like Florida, that area.
Mhm.
So
I just want to say it's impressive that you do not have high blood pressure, considering you're friends with me and Dan.
I think my genetics came in first before I knew you guys, and so if my blood pressure spikes, it is because of you. It is because of you. I don't know. I want to say I'm probably one of the most patient ones in regards to the.
I don't know what you mean.
The board. Oh, you should have heard Anne angry shoveling yesterday. She couldn't get out of her driveway. I was on my way to go get her. Yes, her father-in-law blocked her in. So.
And how are you doing, Daniel-san?
I'm doing okay. I start chemo this coming week here. So on Thursday I start chemo, which is so that's the 2 hour there for 2 hours and an IV for 2 hours and so it's new stuff. So I don't know how that's going to react to that. And then I have the same pills I had before in addition to that. So new stuff coming up, but it just means that I'm on the path to getting this done. So.
Good deal.
And that's going on till June. The last one is June 10th. So I got a ways to go for that, but 6 of those every 3 weeks. So it'll be fun.
Oh, it sounds it.
But other than that, I'm doing okay. So still adapting to this whole thing.
Yes, because she's getting what she wants at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
They can see Juno sitting on my lap at the moment. Mm-hmm. She's just chilling.
She hasn't heard me. Around. That's why.
Yeah, she can't hear your voices at the moment because I've got my headset on.
She's like, this is nice.
Billy!
Hello, Chris.
Billy? There's Billy. Are you and Susan holding up?
Am I still here? Because doing okay, and I wanted to check with you guys right now because I actually got a warning about lack of local disk space on my computer. Is that going to be a problem over there, a little behind the scenes?
I don't think so. So as long as you keep on going, I think you're fine. So
okay, then I'll keep going. Yeah, last Sunday when we spoke, I told you about how our kitty Dora was not feeling well, and last Sunday night she passed away suddenly. So it was very sad and
sad.
I mean, like we could tell she hadn't been feeling well, but the same thing as a couple weeks ago where. No, she wasn't eating and like lackadaisical. And we basically spent all weekend sort of keeping an eye on her. And, she obviously wasn't feeling well, but seemed okay. And we were going to take her to the vet Monday. But Sunday, like between Susan and I, we had spent at least one of us up in the bedroom with her, hanging out and just keeping an eye on her. But at one point I was downstairs watching TV and Susan came downstairs to get something to eat. And when she went back upstairs, Dora was laying in the floor out in the hallway, non-responsive with like liquid around her mouth. And so we rushed her to the emergency vet out in Henrietta. But by the time we got there, she was gone, and she may have actually been gone by the time she left here. I couldn't tell and so it was very sad. We just got her ashes Friday from the, so.
Okay.
How old was Dora?
12, yeah.
Well,
so not incredibly old.
Yeah.
So we're sad. Susan literally raised her from a kitten, like a tiny runt to the litter kitten that she had to feed by an eyedropper.
Aww.
And she was the bossy lady, so she was our bossy kid. So it's a lost or actually feeling.
She was the mom unit of the
well, she's the one that would wake me up when she wanted to eat at 4 a.m, which I both miss and don't miss.
Yeah, that part is okay.
Yeah, well, but it's weird. Like I woke up this morning, and it's still weird not having like Dora tapping me on the head and staring at me. I want to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my news of the week. Other than that, it's been low key, and I haven't done a whole lot. So our passed away kitty. We still have 5 of them though, so including one that hates cats.
Yeah.
It's just funny. That cats.
Anne said to me yesterday, Wade's got plenty of cats to send you.
I don't know if we need the home for wayward cats.
No.
We're losing you, Billy.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but you're
it was all
quiet.
Distorted to me.
Yeah. I can't hear him. I tell you what, let's go to break and we can end this particular section.
As the intro.
All right. And then when we come back, we'll have everything sorted out.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, Tanya.
Weren't we going to flash back to a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, this was a previously recorded conversation. Let's flash back.
If you're just joining us, you'll notice that we have a voice missing today. We started our podcast a couple weeks ago, and then we had some technical issues, and so we decided we were going to pick up this episode today on March 7th, so you guys should be listening to it on March 10th. We don't have Chris with us today. He had the unfortunate experience of having a couple teeth extracted yesterday, and so he has decided that he is going to take the day off and not talk, which is very difficult and challenging for him, because you know how much he loves to talk, even more so than I love to talk. No, actually, I think I love to talk more than he does. But so
it's
today,
painful for him to talk.
It's very painful. He says that he can get about a sentence or two out, and then he's got to rest for a little while because just moving the jaw and things like that. He's got a tooth on both sides, and so for those that are Facebook friends with him, saw his trials and tribulations over the last couple days at the dentist. So we're sending him all of our best wishes for him to rest and relax and be able to be back with us for Monday's Nerd World News. So he took today off in order to be with us on Monday. So when we're listening to this on Wednesday, hopefully we talk to him on Monday, because it's before and backwards and things like that, and flashing back and jumping forward and type of stuff.
Do you remember Steve Martin as the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors?
I do. I love that movie.
So with us we have Dan, Billy, and we have Ian with us today for the Marvel 616. And of course I'm here as well. I think everyone knows who I am. And yeah. So when you guys are listening to this, I have officially hit the age of 49. But while we're recording it, I am spending my last day of being 48. And then on Monday, Ann and I are setting off on an adventure. Again.
Going on an adventure.
It's adventure time. So
Tanya's got her groove back.
Billy, did she tell you what we're doing?
Are you going to the mall?
We're going to the Galleria Mall in Buffalo. We haven't been there.
Okay. Wow. Well,
Dan suggested
shopping.
Dan suggested Destiny in Syracuse, but I think that's just like too far the other way.
It's not that bad, but I wasn't impressed with Destiny. But
no,
I've
never been there, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if we could venture further, we could like hit the Niagara outlets. But
that's in Waterloo. That's not too far. That's halfway to Destiny.
Well, yeah, but there's one up in Niagara Falls too.
Oh,
and then there's the
about that one.
Waterloo outlets. And if we're that close, we might as well just hit the casino.
And since you're there, you might as well.
I don't know if I'm allowed yet. We'll have to.
Are you allowed at Batavia?
No.
Who's not allowed in Batavia?
Somebody who knows how to count cards.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anne has allegedly been kicked out and barred from some casinos.
Oh.
I'm trying to picture that now. That's hilarious. And being led away in handcuffs. Excuse me, miss. You'll have to come with me.
Don't let her play gin or rummy or Uno with you. She knows what you have.
Are there cats in jail? I might go there.
That'd be a different thing. Bring cats. That would help prisons a lot. If, if cats around.
Definitely rehab. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. They
No,
could squeeze through the bars.
I got banned from like 2, and then because a lot of them are owned by like the same people, and my picture got circulated.
Wow, you're famous.
Well, how long ago was that? Truly,
the last time?
Yes.
2012. They might be gone by now. We're almost at 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that you look a little different than you did then.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
Plus, you'll be wearing a mask.
And have a different name.
And a different name too. Yeah, you're right.
So if you read about on Tuesday where you got arrested at the casino, we know what happened.
Never play the slots, just the cards.
I can't bluff whatsoever, so I can't play poker and things like that. Yeah, no. But what we're going to be talking about is we're 5 minutes into our next part of our general discussion, as we had jumped in after our opening and left and came back, and I'm not going to take a break again. But we're going to jump into a conversation about Marvel's 616 documentary series. It is
on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus. It's an anthology documentary television series by Marvel New Media and Supper Club for Disney Plus. It premiered on November 20th, 2020. The name 616 refers to Earth 616, the fictional universe in which the Marvel Comics is set. It's also referred to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Earth, is like 1990, 90, 90, 90, 99. There's like 20 million nines as I looked. Something. On November 20th, executive producer Joe Quesada said it was definitely possible that the show could be renewed for a second season, but it has not been officially renewed for season 2 yet. Each episode focuses on a different interesting aspect of the Marvel universe. For example, the first episode of the series is about the Japanese version of Spider-Man. Other episodes revolve around Marvel cosplay, Marvel action figures, women in Marvel, and even a Marvel Comics themed musical. I missed that episode. I did not watch.
That's episode 8. I haven't watched that one either.
That was the Marvel Spotlight. So the ones that I have watched is the Japanese Spider-Man, the first one. The second one, Higher, Further, Faster, about the women of Marvel. And then I did Suit Up, which is the cosplay ones. And I know you've watched them all like 20 gazillion times.
Yes. For some reason, sometimes I think that's what I do at work, is watch TV all day.
Well, if you can multitask.
I just have to have something listening, and we weren't allowed to listen to music for years, so now I just listen. I just turn it on and listen to the different things, and man, I've learned a lot the last couple of years. But yeah, I've seen them all. I enjoyed them all. Cosplay ones really are some of my favorites, and then the women in Marvel, so they're pretty cool. I highly recommend everything on Disney Channel, because if you're having a bad day, you cannot have a bad day while watching Disney Plus. You can't.
Oh,
There's
I watched
so much stuff out there. Yeah,
I watched Age of Ultron last night after we got back from Selena's, so I needed time to digest my dinner. So yeah, Disney Plus. I'm like, well, what should I watch? I'm like, oh, since I just finished WandaVision, I'm like, let's watch Age of Ultron. So, but
see, it's funny you say that, Tanya, because I was just about to start WandaVision. I was waiting for all of the episodes to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, I should really go back and start before that with Age of Ultron, because that's where Vision was created. And watch. But if I do that, I should go back to the one movie and then next thing you know,
you might as well just start at the beginning.
I just want to start at the beginning and watch every movie and lead up to WandaVision again, even though I have been following along with WandaVision and sort of, kind of, a little bit know what happens, but not really. So, but yeah, I may, now my mind is saying Age of Ultron is a good starting point again.
I like the people yelling, "What happened to her accent? You have to watch."
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, definitely have to watch, because the accent kicks in and out. So, no, and it was just funny because all the one-liners that are in Age of Ultron, and then you do watch WandaVision, you're like, oh, okay, and then you kind of because I had forgotten a lot of what had happened in Age of Ultron. So in regards to WandaVision, so it was actually good to have tie it back up into a little bow.
Yeah, that's why I want to go back and start rewatching the Marvel movies again. Although I hear that the Quicksilver they have is the one from the X-Men movies.
Yep, and you'll find out the reason why.
Okay.
So
I like that one better anyway.
They tie so much into there's so many little things here and there. I've seen a lot of other videos, people saying, wait a second, I was watching WandaVision, I saw this and it matched up to this, and I go, how did you I don't know how people pick that stuff up, because I'm not
a lot of Easter eggs. That's why I love, after I watch an episode of whatever I'm watching, going and checking out fan reviews, because you'll see them talking about Easter eggs and tie-ins and stuff that you didn't notice, and then you feel smart when going forward before you go to the next episode.
Yeah, because people pick up amazing what people can find. I mean, it must have been fun making these episodes and putting them in there, but then I'm impressed people can find so much of this stuff.
Well, it looks like they just watch and rewatch, and then they're like, okay, I found this, or because I wouldn't necessarily find it
to another
first
show
time.
And everything. Yeah.
And then I hear there's a lot of Easter eggs tied into the comic book history of the characters, which I'm not as familiar with either. I've always been a big DC back in mostly the 70s and before, but Marvel, I know the characters. I've read a bunch of the comics, but I'm not quite the historian on Marvel Comics. So the comic
I'm not
book
so much either,
references.
Billy. Yeah, I'm not so much either on the Marvel side, but I do know that in WandaVision, some characters are brought through that we haven't seen since the 70s Marvel comic books. And that actually was quite intriguing. I had to look up the one character. I knew the character's name, but Wade had no backstory to it. And to find a character that Wade had no backstory to was kind of alarming.
That's interesting. I may start with Age of Ultron today after we're done here.
Please be a secret door. Please be a secret door. Yay! That's one of my favorite lines.
Why does that not shock me?
Well, it's because it goes right into D&D too. We use it quite often. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm still trying to explain D&D to my husband. He's still not understanding that whole thing these days.
Ask him if he played pretend as a child.
Probably not.
Like cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers, that type of stuff.
Maybe G.I. Joe, but I mean, not to sound like he had no childhood, but
they were on the farm, I know.
Yes, from the time that he was in a stroller, he was on the farm. He started milking full time when he was 12. And he was driving a tractor before he was 10. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Just think about it's pretend with guidelines and rules. I mean, he watches D&D is just like the fantasy version of say Lord of the Rings. If he's watched the Lord of the Rings movies, it's just like that. Or I mean, Star Wars, the Star Wars role playing game. It's like you are fulfilling missions and stuff that's kind of that's helping the rebels to fight against the stormtroopers and stuff.
I'm going to get him to understand it one of these days. I'm trying to get him to play Magic too, but he doesn't get that either. So.
There's too many cards in regards to that. Yeah, no now, Magic.
What to tie it back into Marvel 616? What does he think of cosplay?
If it's short and tight and cute, he likes it.
On him?
I don't know about that.
I mean, do you want my...
We broke again.
I broke everybody.
No, we broke you.
Oh. I mean, he'll look at cosplay and he'll see it, and I don't think he actually would do it because I've said a couple of times, like, okay, so when he turned 40 a few years back, I threw him a superhero birthday party, and everybody was supposed to dress up in costume, and he would only wear the Superman shirt with the attached cape. Like, he wouldn't wear the tights. He wouldn't wear anything else. Like, yeah.
Well, it wouldn't work on the farm, so he doesn't.
No. But I mean, he had a Star Wars wedding.
Yeah, but no, we encouraged people to dress up. I mean, I don't know if you saw the invitations, but we really encouraged people to dress up. And the DJ dressed up and a few other people dressed up, but that was about it. I mean, we were surprised we didn't have more of our friends. I mean, my family, we knew they weren't going to dress up. I mean,
well, I got the last minute one going that Chris is like, "Can you come help me?" I'm like, "Sure," and because that was before like we really became super friends.
Yeah,
super friends.
Friends, yeah.
Because we are super friends, super sisters, and we put 37 or 36 boxes of cookies in my truck yesterday.
Yeah, and by the way, I messed up cookies. I am short. And this is my fault. I messed up in ordering 2 cases of cookies, and I have to go pick up more on Friday.
So, were you short for your orders then?
Yeah, I'm short. A case of s'mores. I do have an extra case of lemonades, though, which is weird. But no big deal. I still have to place another 15-box order for our cookie booth. So.
Oh, okay. So you can get the 15 boxes in your car.
Oh yeah, I can easily get like 20 cases in my car, but more than that, no.
So should we talk about Marvel 616?
Yes.
Well, once you mention the word Marvel, it goes 20 different directions. So,
and you're the one that turned us on to the show.
Yes, I was telling Dan about. I mean, it's got to be over a month. I was like, Dan, you got to watch this, wasn't I? Like, you got to watch this.
But did you read something about it? Out of all the things on Disney Plus, how did you wind up landing on that show? I didn't even know that it was there until you mentioned it.
It came across in the Marvel universe because Wade and I, we tend to rewatch a lot of the old Marvel movies and DC movies and stuff. And we were going through and it came across and said, Marvel 616, check this documentary. And I was like, okay. And I watched the first 20 minutes of an episode. And that's how I can normally tell to Wade, yes or no, does he like this? And he was like, okay. I was like, yeah, he's going to like this. He's going to like this. So we started watching the first episode and then the second episode. And then it was 10:30 at night. I'm like, we got to go to bed. Because he'll just, if I don't turn the TV off and say it's time to go to bed, he'll just continue watching until it's 4 in the morning. He's going to the barn.
Susan's the same way, strangely enough, between the two of us. If we wind up binging something, she'll go, can we watch the next episode? Can we watch the next episode? We did the same thing with the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, where I started it on my own because I didn't think she'd like it. But then she came downstairs and got caught up in it. Next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. And come on, we got to go to bed. Let's finish this tomorrow. It's not going to leave Netflix between now and tomorrow.
I don't know. It might. Yeah.
So, it's only on there for 5 hours. Quick.
Yeah. But I can also tell when Susan's going to like something. And when I caught the second episode of Marvel 616, which is the women in comics, the history of women creators, women characters, that I knew she'd love because she's really into that stuff. And so that's a great hour to start with. To me, if you're trying the Japanese Spider-Man one, episode 1, I enjoyed, but that wouldn't have got Susan interested. The women in comics did.
So I was doing the Girl Scout superhero series, and I was originally trying to find something that I could say, okay, girls, you need to go watch this, like from the first, to give Girl Scouts to tell them to watch the first one before we went into more in the series. Well, the girls ended up being a little too young for it, but the Girl Scout leaders who were running this, they were like, oh my God, we're going to save this. We need to show this at one of our events. Because, I mean, it's 2021, okay? In all honesty, it is 2021. We should not be saying, we got to see all girl comics. This should be the norm, you know?
Right.
We should say, oh, look, this one is Sarah and Kelly or whoever, you know? We should know that these women's names and not just, it's written by a woman comic, you know? Like, it's the wrong day and age for that. We're too PC these days, you know?
Right.
It's the first woman creator I was aware of was just in the late 60s, Ramona Fridon, who created Metamorpho, and she worked on Plastic Man and Aquaman and a bunch of others. But before then, I think women artists were really rare. And women writers.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that long. That was what, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? Yeah, somewhere around there.
When women had kids, I mean, you could be so many things, but when women in any industry had kids, they were expected not to return. So you see a huge age gap in a lot of the comic artists, the writers, the producers, or even just in any industry. You'll have women into their mid-20s, and then all of a sudden they come back in their late 40s.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen that, Billy, but I've seen that even in where I work now. I have women that worked with us for many, many years, and now they're coming back in, you know, their later years, and they're like, "Well, I raised 4 kids, so now they're all out of college. We're coming back to work."
That's interesting. I can picture it, but that hasn't been my experience with the women I've worked with. But I mean, during my lifetime, my mom didn't work after she started having kids. Now, I have 2 older brothers, and then there's me and my sister. And she was a housewife and stayed home and took care of us and took care of the house and worked really hard at that because that is a full-time job.
Yeah, my mom did the same thing. And to make ends meet, at times my mom took on sewing, or she would babysit the neighbors' kids before and after school and, you know, get them on the bus with us. And that's what they did. It wasn't until I think I was about 12 that my mom went back to work. And that was because we were in Catholic school, and Catholic school is just expensive.
No, I went to public school. That's why I'm done.
Billy, you're a genius. You mean you remember more about comic stuff than I forgot.
Billy's one of those fountains of useless knowledge.
Exactly.
He is, and it's like you remember like such the obscure stuff, and that takes a level of genius to do that. So you don't ever make yourself or say that you're dumb, because you're not.
And everybody has such smarts in different things, Billy. Like, you know all this musical stuff. You know all this other stuff.
Everybody has interests, so, and those were mine. So I did get lucky in doing what I did for so long. I found, and I still find outlets for the things I like to do and write and all that stuff. So, in fact, I want to work on Marvel 616. If only I liked Marvel comics more, which I do. I've always been more of a DC guy, but you know, I've read Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. I love the movies, love all that stuff. But before we started recording, I had literally just finished episode 7 and mentioned it. And Tanya, you said there was something about the episode that featured Dan. It's an episode of Dan Slott, who's a writer for Marvel Comics, and really one of my very favorites. I never knew it. I never took the time to figure out what he looked like. So when his name popped up under the guy talking, so that's Dan Slott. I love his run on Silver Surfer a few years ago. His Spider-Man stuff, his what he's most known for, but I loved his Silver Surfer book. And now this episode features him writing Iron Man 2020, which is Tony Stark's brother taking over as Iron Man and what was then the future.
Yeah. It says CNET, which is an American media website that publishes reviews, news, articles, blogs. It's owned by Red Ventures since 2020.
I felt the episode was more staged than it should have been. I enjoyed it, but I didn't sort of like the format of it. It felt phony to me.
Yeah, they said they pointed out in their review.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Oh, no, I said the CNET pointed out in their review of that specific episode that certain fans of Marvel questioned Marvel's decision to feature Dan Slott in episode 7, The Marvel Method, as the episode depicts him writing very slowly and putting those who work around him in dire situations by doing this. And some readers wondered if Slott was even working or just slacking off. So that's their take on it. I haven't seen the episode yet. So what's your response, Billy?
I felt that it was a phony piece of drama for TV's sake to make it look like it was coming down to the wire, and that it was more planned out than what the show depicted it, which is fine it's TV. It's supposed to tell a story.
Okay.
I still enjoyed it because I just did. I like watching the comic book creation process. So, when they brought in the second writer to help with the script, and they showed the whole process, how it goes from the writer to the artist to the publishing. So I enjoyed it. And Dan Slott is a big personality. I've been following him on Twitter for a couple years now. And so I think anything, they made a point of the editor saying how he has history of missing deadlines. And I think that it was more of for story purposes for TV. That was my take, but I don't know. And
I think that because each episode had its own producer. Okay. I think they were, sometimes to me, it was a little confusing. I couldn't watch them all in a row because there wasn't that same format. Like, other shows we watched, The Toys That Made Us, had that same format, but it was all still different. This was recorded everything was a different way. Every episode was completely different because of having a different producer. So I took that episode as being, yes, he does always mistime things. They're poking fun at it, but he's poking fun at himself about it. But it was kind of cool to also see how his brain thinks. And with most comic artists, writers, they all think in such different ways that nobody has a set formula. And I think they were kind of trying to poke fun at Marvel with the Marvel formula, that there is no formula.
There shouldn't be a formula. Yeah, everybody's different. Yeah. So, yeah.
And he does have a history of missing deadlines, not because, like I was a big fan of his Silver Surfer comic, and sometimes I had to wait a couple months before I got the new issue, 2 or 3 months. And I go in and I ask, "Do you got the new Silver?" No, it's delayed. So, yeah, he does miss deadlines.
Yeah,
for whatever it's worth.
And he says on Twitter, because this was a review on November 24th. He's like, I've scripted books down to the wire, but I think anyone who understands how comic books are made know that plotting a book down to the wire is not only silly, but kind of impossible, as was most of the time frame of the episode. But that and many liberties were taken for fun TV. It's someone's also saying, Dan took a bullet to add some narrative drama to the episode. Honestly, working on this issue was similar to every other job I've done. This is from Pete Woods, Space Guardian.
Yeah, he was the artist on the book.
In fact, I've had much more stressful situations in my past, and Christos Gage was saying Dan's plots are much more detailed, broken down page broken down by page and panel. In each panel description, it says what's happening, how the characters feel, what they're basically saying. The artist is free to make changes, but Dan's got everything there except the specific words. And that's what Christos puts in. He goes, that's what I put in the dialogue.
Yep.
Sometimes before the artist draws, sometimes after. When Dan does this himself, he misses deadlines because he obsesses over the perfect words. I write until it's time to turn it in, and then it's, well, like, this is what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Caramagna, he is I just saw it.
Is he the letterer?
Yep, he's the letterer, and he says, where'd it go? In my part of the Marvel method process in Marvel 616 gave you anxiety. Imagine if they hadn't cut the story I told about lettering an issue in the delivery room while my wife was in labor. So...
I shouldn't laugh at that, but that would be like something. I mean, that would be something I'd tell my kids later on. I mean, I'm that cool person that likes comics.
Yeah, like I am lettering an issue in the delivery room while my wife is in labor. So,
well, it would be even better if his wife was lettering it while she was in labor. I mean, just to be honest.
Yeah.
So. Billy, I'm going to have to bring this book over for you to see. I know you're a huge DC fan, but I have this gigantic book. It takes up my entire dining room table when it's open, and you flip it one way and then you flip it upside down, and the pages open out. The book's like 3 foot tall, and
is it the Marvel? I've got the big one on the history of DC and the one on the history of Marvel. Is that the one you got, the Marvel one?
Let me see. It is the.
Because I do like Marvel.
It is the entire expanding universe wall chart of all Marvel characters ever created.
Oh, I don't think I know that one because I do have
the Marvel Universe book too.
Yeah, the one that comes in a big cardboard carrying case.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's a really good book.
But this one here, I was able to like. So I bought this for Wade, and
and has he opened it?
He opened it when I gave it to him, but I'm the one who like opens it and stares at it and tries to go through like the universe and put things together. Like the X-Men are in here, X-Forces. I mean, everything is in here, and I just thought that was the coolest thing because when I was watching the Marvel 616 and they were showing some of the characters, especially in the Pops episode.
Oh yeah, the toy episode. Yep.
Yeah. Some of those characters, I'm like, oh, I know that one. But it was only because I'd stared at this book for so many hours.
Is the Pops one that unboxed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
it actually takes you inside the Pops factory in the building. It is so cool. We need to do a tour there. Just saying.
Back in my old house, I had tons of shelves of Pops, but I still have most of them in boxes now up in the attic because I had a ton of Pops. But in the new house, we didn't put up those shelves. We hung art on the walls instead. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we don't have room for anything else, so we can't collect Pops. We have
a
few.
So I shouldn't get.
I want. What's that?
So I shouldn't get her any.
Correct. Correct. My new plan. I know you're all gonna think this is dumb as heck, but I want. Has anybody seen the plate walls lately on Pinterest or whatever? So I have a Star Wars kitchen. I want to do a whole wall of Star Wars plates that I'm going to hand paint each plate.
There you go.
Yeah. So and remove my cow plates off the wall.
See, that's the thing about this TV show. It gets your mind wandering. Like the episode about the toys. I want to get out those toys now. I still have a bunch of them around the house. There's still areas where there's toys and figures. And I got a working bat signal. And I got, awesome. The huge Batman pop, like the foot tall Batman pop. And I got a bunch of statues around, just not all of them. But looking at that episode made me go, oh, I want that. I want that. I want that.
Yeah.
Because it really gets your mind going.
I
No.
liked watching the different episodes and how, like, even the writers and the producers and all the different people had all their own characters and their own things around their houses and around their office.
Mhm.
You know, like, they just didn't draw them. They enjoyed them. You know? And that's what I think the Marvel 616 does, is it was like, okay, enjoy what you love. Embrace it, love it, geek it out, and have fun with it. So that's what I'm going to do, you know?
There you go.
And it made me want also, there was the episode with the two artists from Spain.
Yes.
And I mean, I want to read that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur book. I may have to go to the store and pick up those comics because that looked really cute, that book.
So you haven't watched the musical episode yet, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's so cute. It is so cute. It's about bringing in Marvel characters into schools to be done as plays and musicals. And they're short plays and musicals. They're not like hour long or 2 hour long. They're 15, 20 minutes, half hour. And it's taking kids in communities that would not necessarily be able to do these things and make them doable. The Squirrel Girl one looks amazing.
That was a good episode. I saw that one.
Yes. And well, you and I are huge musical fans anyway.
Yes.
But the way that Marvel brings this to the schools at zero cost.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Tell me how that's not making the next generation as well. Like, it's the whole Marvel concept of let's love them. Let's give them this. But these people are going to later buy our stuff anyway. Right.
So it's a win-win for them. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually looked into getting the Marvel stuff just to see if we can get somebody around here to do it because it's free. The stuff that they provide you, they send you the tail.
Mm-hmm. It says, like, I'm looking at it right now. Hammered, a Thor and Loki play. 6 females, 9 males, and 5 of any gender. The Mirror Most Value Miss Marvel play is 8 females, 4 males, 10 of any gender. And Squirrel Girl Goes to College. You need 3 females, 1 male, and 14 of any gender. So yeah, the type of show, they're all like, there's a comedy or a drama. How many people are in the cast?
Mm-hmm. And they do provide all the scripts. They provide, like, for the teachers, there's extra acting books in there to help the kids get into character better or to understand their characters better. Like, it's just a really good program. It's something we should bring to the inner city schools here, I think, because that would just, the free program would be great for kids who can't afford it but want to get that experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I also really like musicals. So now I'm looking forward to that episode. I just haven't had time to watch it yet. I did go see Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark on Broadway a bunch of years ago.
I'd have never seen that.
No one fell from the ceiling. that was the issue when they were in pre-production and early versions of that play, where actors would have accidents and fall off because they literally swung from the ceilings of the theater. At one point, Spider-Man and Green Goblin were literally over my head.
Wow, that's
fighting, and it was crazy.
We're in the action there, huh?
Yeah, it was really a really cool play. I know it sort of bombed, even though it lasted 3 or 4 years on Broadway.
It was so expensive.
Yeah.
What was it? I was still looking at the Marvel Spotlight. What was it?
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. It was the Spider-Man Broadway play that U2 did the music for.
Oh.
And I really enjoyed it. Susan and I went to go see it on Broadway on a trip to New York 6-7 years ago, maybe.
The first performance was June 2011.
So it was longer ago. It was probably 8-9 years ago then.
It says, what went wrong with the Spider-Man musical?
Too expensive.
And actors kept getting hurt.
That's a big thing too.
And it suffered an early setback when the producer died of a stroke.
Oh, it's a rent situation all over.
Started off bad, yeah.
That play was as cursed as this episode of the podcast was.
Hey, we still have Anne right now, so we're good.
Yeah,
Oh, no, you just jinxed it. Thanks, Tanya.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be an episode of Monkey Business if there wasn't some type of issue.
we've been trying to record this one for 3 weeks now.
I know.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to hang in here, guys.
You're trying to hang in there?
Before we, we're trying not to jinx anything.
Yeah, I think I already did, though.
Oh, wow. But I'm sorry.
I was like, Anne loved it. Billy loves documentary. I'm like, I enjoyed it, but I'm not a huge documentary fan. So I only watched a couple episodes. And I think I was doing the same thing when we were watching
The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah. I was like, whatever one with Barbies, and I'm just like,
if it's a subject, if it's about something that's interesting, then I'll watch it. Or if it's a good one, then yeah. I mean, I didn't watch all of them. I didn't watch the Japanese Spider-Man one. I didn't watch the a couple other ones, but yeah, like the Suit Up that one, definitely I enjoyed that. The Higher, Fast, Further, Faster was good. Marvel Spotlight there.
I just realized a couple nights ago, Tanya, was your worst nightmare. I watched a documentary about Monty Python.
Oh, and that would have been my worst nightmare.
That'd have been great.
Tell Dan what it is so he can go watch it.
It's on Netflix, Dan. It's a documentary about the final shows they did at the O2 Arena. And I think it's really, really good. I saw that last show when they broadcast it live via satellite to movie theaters. I went to Tinseltown to watch it. It was like 2 PM because I think it was like 8 PM in England. So it was actually live and convenient for us to see in America.
Was it Monty Python's Almost the Truth?
Is that the name of it?
That's like a 6-episode.
No, this is just a one like movie that's about 90 minutes to 2 hours long. And it's a documentary about their farewell tour.
There's a lot of Monty Python things here. Wow.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Let me see if I can find Monty Python farewell documentary. That's what I'm gonna. Documentary.
It's not something that Anne and I will watch.
And you don't like Monty Python either?
I hate Monty Python. So, okay, the Mighty Python thing, oh God, I'm going to tell this story. About 7 years ago, I dated this guy in Utica. It's a long story. Tequila was involved. And I went to spend the weekend with him. And that's all we did was watch like 4 Mighty Python movies. He was so obsessed with them. And then he would walk around his house, just farting and telling jokes. And it was like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I drove all these hours for, to hang out, to get to know you. And, are you kidding me? Oh, and it was like 85 degrees and no air conditioning.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. A year later, I couldn't do it anymore.
A year later?
A year later, no one knows.
Dating on and off.
Yeah.
I drove there all the time. It was like every couple of weekends I was driving there.
He never drove here?
Once for one day, and we went to the Strong Museum of Play, and it was Mighty Python jokes and farting the whole way through that museum. And that is why I hate Mighty Python. You're welcome.
So he overdid it to you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Oh my God. It was so we went to one of his friends' house and they were quoting lines to each other back and forth watching NASCAR.
NASCAR is where I tap out. I tap out in NASCAR.
Oh, I tapped out after NASCAR too. I was like, I'm going to go outside and sit in the sun. And that's literally what I did. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I met him at the racetrack, but
you met him at a racetrack?
Yes.
That should have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Dan, it's called Monty Python: The Meaning of Life.
Oh,
okay.
Tanya, write that down. We're never going to watch that.
That's okay. As soon as it has Monty Python in the title, I won't necessarily pick it up. So
I like documentaries, especially when it's like really boring stuff and I can't sleep. It puts me right to sleep.
well, then maybe you need that one.
No.
No.
You don't know what you're missing.
Oh, that's okay. I
Actually,
will.
We're all
and
we're
unfortunately.
different, so it's okay.
The
Yeah.
History Channel is good enough for me. I
Okay.
like the history of the unknown. That one's one of my favorites at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep. Except I actually really get into that, and when the TV asks you, "Are you still watching?" That's when I'm like, "Yes, I'm still watching." Why do you ask?
I hate that. Thank you. Yes, I'm still watching. Even if I wasn't, I'm still watching.
Mine's usually my Pandora station. Are you still listening? It sounds like we're playing to an empty room. Yes, we're still listening.
Oh, I hate that.
There's a new Netflix, another Netflix series, Men the Fight for America, the history of the 14th Amendment. The first episode is about Frederick Douglass there. He's prominently in it, so it's on Netflix. I saw it, and Will Smith narrates the thing, so
That's good. Did anybody watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air remix?
No.
It's really good.
I want to see it because it looks like it's fun.
It does look like it's fun. I mean,
I saw bits of it.
Fun. I have to say, it was pretty good. But I think the next thing we're going to have to do is the movies that made us, because the Dirty Dancing one really just had me.
That was really good.
It was so good.
So did that one come out? The movies that made us?
Yes, it's out
on Netflix.
What was it? The Dirty Dancing, Ghostbusters.
I'm going to have to look it up now because...
Hold on, I've got it.
Home Alone and Die Hard.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh, who's watching? Yeah, okay. This was the first one, the movies that made us, and then the toys that made us came after it, right?
No.
I think it's the other way around.
Is it?
Yeah. And then High Score came after that, which is about the video games.
Yeah, but I watched all 4 episodes of the movies that made us, and it was really interesting to learn about these movies and how they almost didn't get made.
Yeah. Wow, somebody has a phone that actually rings?
Yeah, that happens to be our house phone.
Wow.
You have a house phone?
Yes, we still have a house phone. I bitch about it all the time because I'm paying for it and I very rarely use it. So.
I have a house phone as well, but I told Spectrum if I got any more spam phone calls from them, I was going to throw them out the window.
Yeah. I primarily use my... So.
What's the number, Tanya? Let's all call it. Let's put it out on the podcast.
It's 867-5309.
My mother-in-law's calling me.
If you have any questions for Monkey Business, call us at, and then
MONKE 1 MONKEY.
Oh my God, we really need a number. We could have somebody call in. I don't know how we would do that, but
we're lucky we got us 4 talking to each other. What do you mean? Take live calls? What are you, crazy? We started half an hour late because we couldn't get you.
Exactly what I was thinking, going.
And this is our second time trying to record this because we couldn't get me.
Imagine if we tried a third time.
We're on a roll, guys. We're on a roll. Well, do we have anything else we want to say about Marvel 616?
I do want to say thank you for mentioning that they have different writers and producers, because there is sort of a strange flow to the episodes that almost made me not want to binge watch it, because I personally didn't like the episode with Paul Scheer, who is a funny guy. He's done stuff I like, but the thing where he's trying to create a new Marvel character or bring back a forgotten Marvel character, I didn't enjoy that one. It had kind of a weird feel to it that just didn't feel right to me.
Well, that's the trouble. Yeah, if you're trying to be consistent, you need to have the same people running it. I mean, it happened to Star Wars movies. I mean, the last 3 movies are all different.
Yeah.
But so something like this, where we want to flow to this documentary, you kind of need to have a more consistent feel for it, I think.
Wow.
Or we could take a break and we can come back and finish up.
Yeah.
We still got our question of the week.
we're back. Thank you for being with us for this long and enjoying our many different tangents that we've gone from Marvel 616 to WandaVision to Age of Ultron to DC to Star Wars Legos and anything else that's going on. And we just had a side conversation about Girl Scout cookies. So we are going to do a question of the week. We'll let Anne pick between one and how many, Dan?
Oh my gosh, let's see. 453.
Jeez. I have no idea. 99.
99. Let's see. We've done 99. How about try again?
60. Oh no, let's do Tanya's age. One more day at 48.
48. Okay, 48. All right. Would you rather relive high school and get $1 million or spend a year as a clown and get $1 million?
Oh, I know that answer.
It said relive all of high school or just a year of high school?
It says all of high school.
So 4 years of high school and $1 million, or a year as a clown,
yes,
and $1 million. I'm going high school.
You know what, Billy? Me too. Because you know what? My high school years weren't that bad. Not in consideration. And I don't think I could live in the clown makeup for a year without my face totally breaking out. And I don't feel as though I'm super funny to be a clown. So, yeah.
I don't want to be a transient going from time. I don't like traveling all that. I don't like being away from home. And
true.
So I'm picturing life on the road as a circus clown. So
it doesn't say on the road, but spend a year as a clown. Just maybe just dress up every day and do your stuff as a clown. I don't know.
No,
people are afraid of clowns. I still choose high school because my high school days were pretty good. I think not perfect, but
I'm choosing.
But I got through them well.
No, I'm being a clown. My sister is definitely afraid of clowns. I want to scare the crap out of her for a year. And B, high school sucked for me.
No, I found a good crew of nerds to hang out with now that I think about it. We went to Star Trek conventions downtown and movies. And so, yeah, I'm definitely taking high school.
I went to Edison. Okay, first I went to East. And then through a series of unfortunate events, I ended up at Edison. I loved Edison. I hated the fact that I failed my entire freshman year because I got transferred in the middle of the year. So I had to go to day school, night school, and summer school to graduate on time. And it was just and nobody told me when I transferred to Edison that it required so many extra credits. So I struggled. I mean, I did graduate with my 1.11 GPA, but I did graduate. Did you know you can fail gym 6 times?
I did not.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't attend and don't participate, I think you would fail.
Yeah, but somehow I played a varsity sport, so I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. But yeah. That's why I ended up at night school and summer school, mostly for gym classes. In night school for gym classes, you watch sports on television and break it down as if you were like a sportscaster.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, it was awful.
That sounds awesome.
I would totally be a clown, though. Just really, my sister is deathly afraid of them, and I would deliver donuts to her every day just as a clown.
Never get on Anne's bad side because she's got a lot of things that she can torment you with.
For all the good that I do, I have a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, a little fun there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dan, what about you?
Well, I don't know if I relive it exactly as it went, or I don't know. I don't know if I can redo some of high school, maybe.
It just said go back and.
It said relive high school.
Relive high school.
Yeah, it says relive high school. I mean, overall, I have no real complaints about it. I mean, there's stuff I wish I could have done differently, but I mean, I got so many friends today that from Aquinas and everything.
Well, you wouldn't have Chris, you wouldn't have Brian, you wouldn't have Deanna, You wouldn't have all of them, and therefore, hence, you wouldn't have all of us if you didn't do the high school, and you wouldn't have had your Debbie Gibson thing. So,
well, Debbie Gibson probably would have come along eventually.
Right.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that video, but yes. But yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, overall, I can't complain about high school. I didn't. I mean, especially senior year definitely was best year there. Usually is in high school, but if I can just live a normal life and just have to dress as a clown every day, I could do that too. But
there are people that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going high school. I can't do the clown thing.
Come on, I'll teach you. I have the shoes already, and the makeup, and the nose.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
FC3, we had an FC3 clown day. Is that what you want to do?
There you go.
My uncle used to be the clown at Seneca Park Zoo.
Oh wow!
1992, and I kept his entire clown kit because he just so many memories. He was also Santa at the mall, and he was a mailman for 40-something years too. But he loved to dress up and watch kids smile. He had the most innocent way of just liking how to make the kids happy.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to come every Christmas morning when we were kids until I was about 10, dressed as Santa and bring us all of our gifts. So when he did pass, I was so happy to get his shoes and his noses and the whole makeup case. I mean, I had to get rid of the makeup after a while, but I mean, just the smell of opening that case is nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. So that could be a fun day to have a clown day.
Yeah, I
mean.
So when are you tormenting your sister?
All of the time. Are you kidding?
Whenever you can is the answer, huh?
She is my little sister. Okay, Dan will understand this one. I'm the middle child.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all the responsibility. So now they get tortured.
Yes, my little sister got off easy with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The little sisters are the spoiled ones. Tanya's an only child, so she wouldn't know. The little sisters always got whatever they wanted. The older sisters could do whatever they wanted because they were the oldest. I was the middle. I was the one that had to clean up the messes and do everything in between.
That sounds about right, because I was the second oldest of four. So my older sister, she did what she wanted. My younger sister got away with pretty much everything. My younger brother, he just sort of was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because I'm third in out of four. And my younger sister pretty much was, but she was the smartest one of all of us too. She was a straight A student and not a troublemaker at all. So
because she saw what happened with the other three.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. No. So predictions. Chris, I would say clown.
Yeah, I think he'd want to torment people with me though. And he's really tall and I'm short, so we could like get in a little Mini Cooper and run around and torment people.
Chris in a Mini Cooper.
That's funny. he would be through the sunroof. He would have to have a sunroof in order to climb into that.
He survived in my VW Rabbit, so he can survive in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah,
so.
He might be crunched, but
no, we have. If we're gonna go way back when, we'll have to get inside of a Chevette.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Based on the last episode of Dan and Chris Save the World, I have a feeling Chris wouldn't want to go back to high school.
As much as he loves his friends and the acquaintances that he got from that, I think he would go clown.
Yeah, he'd wanna move on.
Yes, yeah. I don't think he wants to relive high school.
My 25-year reunions this year, and they're planning to redo our prom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, who thinks of these things?
I wouldn't want to redo my proms, either one, senior ball or junior prom. No thanks.
My junior prom, I would. I went with a gay man, and oh my God, we had so much fun. So much fun. I highly recommend it if you're going to the prom. Bring a gay friend because they A, can dress and B, can dance.
All right, I'll find a gay friend and do that.
Yeah. My senior ball, I went with my ex-husband. That's how long we were together.
Wow.
So long ago that he was your ex-husband even then?
No, we started dating in 1995.
Okay.
We got
And what
married
year did you graduate?
Huh?
What year did you graduate?
96.
So his high school sweetheart there.
Mhm.
Yeah, except he was older because he was McQuaid, class of 93. Yeah, I know. The McQuaid.
So how did you? So that's going to be a story for another time. You graduated in 96. He graduated in 93. There was where did you guys meet? That's going to be a story for another time. And on that note, this has been another episode of Monkey Business. We're going to cliffhanger that one. Our dear listeners, I can't really do the outtake. Damn it! This has been another episode of Monkey Business.
Follow us wherever we go.
A product of your Flower City Comic Con
purveyors. Product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, the purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you in September of 2021. Follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We will lead you wherever we might go because that's where the entertainment is. And I have really totally screwed this up, and Chris is probably dying laughing at this because I need it written out. So, Chris, never, ever, ever be absent again. Just like you said, I couldn't ever be absent again because I had to Google everything. So, this is what happens when we totally take over the podcast and things like that. So, Dan,
consider this the unreleased episode. This one was definitely worth waiting 2 or 3 weeks for.
So we will talk to you next week.